Hi, my name is Tim, solo game dev for Krauser Studios. I'm the one who made Transcending Fear. So I kind of want to go a little bit over the game that I'm making here. So it first started about 2 or 3 weeks ago. I found out that me and my sister, we have tons of medical debt together. And it felt like things were just crumbling around me. Things weren't going well at work, and it felt like the only sense of control I had was making a horror game or just making a game in general. I was like, okay, let me just see what I can do. So I had a decent game going, and then I had this horrific coding error. And basically, what ended up oh, she is gone. Anyways, so what ended up happening is I made the game, I had a fatal error, had to kill the entire project, create a brand new one, and when you make a new project, importing everything takes forever. One of the problems I had is that, okay, now I'm down to 2 weeks. I'm like, 2 weeks to make a horror game for Halloween? Like, no, there's no way in hell I'm doing that. But, it was the only sense of control I had. So I started working on it, and things went okay. But the thing is, I found out while making it, like, I have the short story written that's based off of a really long short story that I'm actually planning on turning into, like, a full-on game. But the thing is, I narrated and I was being all dramatic and everything, and it sounded really good and creepy. But, like, there was something missing. I wanted to just make something absolutely unique. I need to fix the particle system. Anyways, I'm actually going to turn around before I get there, otherwise you're all going to go blind. Yeah, so one of the problems I had is, like, yeah, I can narrate it all professionally and stuff like that, but it wasn't, there was just something missing. I couldn't really put my finger on it. So I thought, why don't I try and narrate it the way I would talk to an actual person? So I tried it again, and I was like, this doesn't sound that great. Because I'm making some mistakes and everything. I was like, you know what? That actually kind of like that. Mark doesn't explain everything perfectly. He stutters a bit. There's some things he leaves out. He pauses and everything. And before long, I actually kind of had something I appreciated. And it felt very immersive. That's where I wanted to go towards. So, like, could I together a horror game where you explore a hospital and you're just basically just trying to find a key on a dead body and things jump out at you? Yeah, I could do that. And I'm not knocking game developers who do that. It's fine just to have something quick and simple and spooky. But I wanted an actual game. I wanted to set the limit. But it was like, 2 weeks to make a horror game? Like, no, there's no way in hell that's happening. But sure enough, I kept working on it. And so what you see now, I have not technically finished the project yet, so for all I know, I'm going to delete this video because it never works out, because it seems like things always seem to blow up in my face the last minute. But so I said, screw it, and I kept working on it. And I was like, okay, first thing I'm going to do is, part of horror is not knowing what's going to happen. So I try to make a whole bunch of stuff where you don't really know what's going on. And so that was the constant theme. There would be no convoluted puzzles, no doing this, doing that, no randomly wandering around, and a bunch of cheap jump scares. Are there jump scares technically? Yeah. But I don't feel like they're cheap because they're a part of gameplay. And they're not just jump scares for the sake of jump scares. They're jump scares because something actually happens. One thing I need to implement is the ability to where you can't turn the car when the car isn't moving. Right now, like, forward and backwards and left and right are their own separate things, so even when I'm stopped I can turn. So when you make a good spook, you know that because you as a developer know it's going to happen, but it still creeps you out. Like that bitch in the back, I renamed the FSM random bitch in the back seat because she scared the shit out of me multiple times. I left her on a couple of times without thinking about it. And of course, I'm driving along testing something like that, and she just appeared in the back seat, scares the shit out of me. So I made it to where, like, when you're first looking in the back seat at her, you can't really tell what it is. And I made it to where her collider, when you look over and he deactivates her, it's just on the edge of your freaking screen. So that was my first favorite part. And the second one is, having to take down the actual ghost. which is, you know, you're constantly in this feeling of being vulnerable. You know what to do, you know how to do it, and that's one thing I didn't like about some horror games is that you didn't know what was going on. I guess you had some semblance of what to do, but like you wander around and you look for some small itty bitty item that blends into the environment and it would drive you absolutely insane. So I really wanted to get back to like, what is scary. So I went to the ghost subreddits. I went to all these different places, watched all this different paranormal footage and stuff like that. I was like, okay, what is horror? What makes something scary? And it was always like not really sure, knowing what the hell you're looking at or what's going on. And so I made that to be like my general theme. Is like, the bitch in the back, you don't see her face fully until she tries to murder you. Until it's too late. Then you got the chick on the hood that's there just to mess with you. Screw it, I'm just, anyways, I'm just gonna, so yeah, that's kind of about the horror game. I know it's really short, and I'm really hoping people don't just beat it in a couple of minutes. Unfortunately, that is something that can definitely happen. I mean, you drive there, you kill the ghost, you come back. So technically you can get lucky and throw a flare. But making her, kind of hard and kind of spooky, that's also a big one. I also try to make sure I don't have like flashing lights and stuff like that. It's someone with photosensitivity. I can't do that. It exhausts my eyes. I'm like, you know what? You don't really need to make something, you don't really need to have flashy lights to make something creepy. You can just do it on your own. Like, so I was really big on atmosphere, on sounds, on gameplay, and that's another thing I found with horror games is like visually they'd be really good, but then the gameplay would just drop. And the reason the visuals look great is because you can just grab things from the asset store and plop them into your game. Everything you see in front of you, I didn't really have a whole lot to do with making that look good. I just dragged and dropped it into my game. Now, granted, I still have to make the environment, I still have to put together the items and stuff like that. But like that wasn't super hard to do. So yeah, that's I want to just give like a really quick video talking about like my experience making horror games, and everything. So thank you so much for playing, and yeah, hope to see you again in the future. I do plan on releasing more episodes added on to this and everything. So it is a long, ongoing story. I got a bunch of different characters. Things progress, things get worse, things get easier. There's just like, there's a lot of different elements to the story. I didn't want to just be like, you go to the abandoned hospital and they were performing things on patients and it was horrible. It just felt like, that has been done. It has been done to death. I don't want to do that anymore. I want something of higher quality, like an actual game. Oh shit! That's what I'm talking about. I hate her so goddamn much. I left her. Okay, so when I know she's there, it's not too big of a problem. But there were times where I thought I turned her off, but I have this thing in my game that turns on all the crucial elements of gameplay in case I forget to turn them back on when I go to make the game playable. Oh, god damn it. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I pulled over. I thought I hit the area that turns her off because she gets turned off when you get to the building. Oh, that's right. Yeah, that was the area in front of me. Oh, okay. Hopefully this will be a good game. We'll see. Alright, thank you all so much for watching. Catch you all later. Bye.